Welcome to Forest Namesake. We're so glad that you're here. I'm Valentine, and this is my mom, Martina. And first off, before we get to the topic today, we want to thank each and every one of you who encouraged us, left great feedback, and even sent us emails 2 videos ago on the new direction for our channel. That meant a lot to us because we were pretty discouraged, weren't we?
Yes.
So, thank you so much. Again, we do hope and pray that God blesses you.
Yes.
And we will definitely keep all your suggestions in mind. It probably won't be like right away. We're still learning this ourselves. So just bear with us. Because the most important thing that we want to do is to keep God in the center of this channel. It's His.
Yes.
So, alright, well, a few days ago, we were actually having pizza, and for some reason, I had brought up the things that I miss, because like I said, I'm only human, and while I'm very grateful for all God has done for us during this homeless journey, it doesn't mean that I don't still have some future hopes and dreams, even since I was a teenager. And it has changed as I've gotten older. You know, when you're a little kid, people always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you know how kids always change their minds, it seems like every day. Well, there are some dreams that just stay with you. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and how they're fulfilled, how sometimes they're not fulfilled, or God says not yet. Sometimes He says wait. And really how we are supposed to surrender all our hopes and dreams to Him. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. The camera is just goes in and out. I guess I need a new one or something, but I don't have the money for that right now. So sorry about that. So before I get into my hopes and dreams, I was going to read you this Bible verse that I think kind of goes along with it. It's from Psalm 37, and I'll start with verse 3. The verses before that, David was saying how you don't need to envy others, especially the wicked. You know, they have their time, you have yours. And then he says, trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell on the land and feed on His faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. Now, what do you think that verse means? I'm putting my mom on the spot. Do you think God's just going to give you every desire that you ever want?
No, I mean, we may, like I said, me and Valentine may think differently, but I think it has to do with making sure that it's in God's will. As long as we're in God's will, and then we have a desire for something, then that's in His will, then He will give us that. Mm-hmm. But if it's out of His will, like for example, here's a good example. I just, out of the blue, I would like to have a, hot rod sports car right now, just to have, because they're nice and they sound wonderful when they're going down the road, and they look so sleek and expensive, and so I'm praying, dear God, please give me that sleek, good-looking sports car. Will God give me that just because I want it, because it looks nice? No, I don't think so. If I really need a car, I really need one, let's say this one's falling apart and we really need a vehicle, and we pray for that, then I would think that He would give us that. That would be, because otherwise, well, I don't know, but then again, maybe not. Maybe He wants us to rely on public transportation, even though there is none here, or if there is, it's very expensive. They do have one, but it's $6 per ride. That gets very expensive if you have to do several rides a day. And then you have to wait, because they do mostly pick up for people on dialysis, diabetes, the elderly, things like that. So there's a lot of waiting around. But anyway, long story short, I would think that we need to be in God's will in order to have a desire, and then He will give it to us. But it may not be in our timing. It's almost never in our timing. It's always in His timing. Mm-hmm. So, and looking back then later, we look at it and we go, wow, thank you, God, that You did not give me that when I wanted it, but rather You gave it to me later when I was more mature, when I could handle it, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, an example that just came to mind is when I guess I was 11, I had wanted another sibling. And I wanted another sibling so bad. It doesn't mean that I didn't love my sister, but something in me really wanted another sibling. And deep down, I did want a brother. just to see what it was like. So I remember I would even cry to my mom, like, Mom, why can't we have another baby? I don't know if my parents were ready at that time, but I did pray for, I think, a whole year. See, it doesn't come right away.
And your sister prayed too,
Yeah,
remember?
she got
prayed
that
for
goal
too. She
too,
prayed
that
for a baby
hope.
brother.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
God did answer. It took a year, but it happened in His timing and His way. And I think at that time I was old enough to help take care of the sibling.
Yeah.
You know, 11-year-olds are still kind of in that childish phase, but at 12 years old, I think I was ready, more ready to help. So I'm glad God did choose that time frame.
Yes. So that's one of the dreams of yours that came true?
Yes.
Yes. And I guess I'll share one of my dreams was, I love missionaries. I've shared this before on some videos before. I've always had a mission heart. I've always wanted to be a missionary, but I'm so thankful that I never became one because there's lots of reasons why. One of them is that I would not have the patience. A lot of patience is involved in that. Dealing with people, just waiting for things to happen, waiting to get your passport, waiting to get the visa. I mean, the list goes on. And then waiting in long lines, depending on where you're at. I don't have patience for that. So I'm kind of thankful that I didn't become one. But I do love to pray for missionaries. I do love to give to them if I can financially. I love reading all their stories. We have several little booklets. We've mentioned that before on different missionaries. I think it's by YWAM, isn't it? Youth with a Mission. There we go. Youth with a Mission publications, and they do these little booklets for people like me who don't really like to read. It's just a short little book about a particular missionary. So through the years, I've read about someone named Gracia Burnham. Yeah, Burnham. Her and her husband, and they had kids. They were missionaries to the Philippines back in the 2000 range. And her and her husband were on a vacation celebrating their 18th wedding anniversary back in 2000, wasn't it?
2001.
2001, May 27 of 2001. And suddenly they were raided in their hotel, and they were taken hostage. Them, along with some other people, were taken hostage by a Muslim militant group. And they were held hostage for a little over a year in the jungles of the Philippines. It was touch and go every day. She wrote a book about it called In the Presence of My Enemies. And I read it, and you know me, I don't like to read, but that book, wow, I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't wait to finish reading it, that kind of thing. Very well written about her and her husband's life as they were being held hostage. And thankfully, the kids did not have to deal with that. They were, I think, staying with relatives at the time because they were celebrating their wedding anniversary. So that's good that they didn't have to endure that and go through that at the time because they were young. But I always wanted to meet Gracia Burnham. I've always wanted to meet missionaries in real life. It just to, and I've known some missionaries. I've had some friends. In fact, my matron of honor, she went into the mission field and went to Ethiopia soon after she got married, which was just a few months before I got married in 1992. But I also wanted to meet Gracia Burnham. I always prayed, I said, dear God, it'd be so wonderful to meet Gracia Burnham. And lo and behold, I got to meet her at a Voice of the Martyrs missions conference, and she was a speaker there, and she had her books for sale, or maybe they were donated, I'm not sure, but either way, I got a signed copy of her book, In the Presence of My Enemies, and I got to meet her, and I said, I've always wanted to meet you, and God answered my prayer. So that was, and I got to shake her hand and see her face to face, so that was a wonderful dream come true. But I would think that I was in God's will at that point. So He did give me the desires of my heart, because I would think that God would want us to meet people that are truly serving Him. I mean, they're on the mission field sharing Jesus with others. So I would think that He would want me to meet someone like that. So He granted my wish. So I met her, let's see, how much after that time period. It was...
I think it was not soon after I came back from Indonesia, I think.
Yeah, and you went back in 2012.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was around 2012-ish or so that we met her in person.
It was right after her second book was published, because we have a signed copy of that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one of my dreams that came true that I wanted to share with you today.
Now, something about that Bible verse, the desires of your heart, most people focus on the desire part, but they miss the first part. It says, delight yourself also in the Lord. We're supposed to delight in God, spend time with Him, pray to Him, and that's the most important thing, is our walk and relationship with the Lord, not about what we want. Now, of course, it's only natural that we would have goals, wishes, and hopes. I like what this commentator said. I'd forgot his name. It's David something. You probably heard of him. I think he's quite well known now. He has a website called enduringword.com. And he said, the one who truly delights in the Lord will find his heart and desires changed, steadily aligning with God's own good desires for his life. So the more we do spend time with God, the more our desires are going to change to want what He wants, not what we want.
That's good to know. Yeah.
And it is true. Like, I think it was about maybe 2 years ago, I really desired to spend more time with Him, to really get to know Him better. And I do think it was granted. I was really close to the Lord, especially at that time. I was constantly opening up the Bible, researching things, doing Bible projects. So yeah.
Yeah. Was this when you were discipling your brother?
No, this is on my own. It was at the last house we were actually the house that got foreclosed.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I always would walk in the room and she'd have the Bible open.
I just had that desire.
Yeah. All day long. It didn't matter what time of the day I'd walk in. I thought, wow, are you still doing a Bible study? And she'd have commentaries and other things laying there next to her. But yeah, she loves doing that. Yeah. Now, did you want to tell them about a goal and dream that you have now that you were praying about or hoping that would come true?
Well, I do miss cooking, which is odd because years ago I was scared to boil water, and my parents can tell you that. Like, really scared. I would be like this on the stove because I didn't want to get my hand scorched by the boiling water. And I still am kind of scared, but I do miss cooking.
She's a great cook. She likes to cook the Pioneer Woman. I think we've done quite a bit. You've done quite a bit of her recipes from several of her cookbooks that are available, and she does a really good job. And my favorites is the chocolate chip cookies by this Pioneer Woman. You gotta check it out. Those are the best chocolate chip cookies in the world, and Valentine does them just wonderfully. Because I tried to make them once and they didn't turn out. But Valentine, she knows how to do them correctly.
They have a coffee flavor to them, and I don't like coffee, but I really loved these cookies.
Yes.
And her recipes aren't the healthiest, so I would probably adjust some things the more I get to know more about cooking skills, because I was still quite new at it. And just eating healthier in general.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do in our situation. But yeah, if I ever have the chance and God allows it, I would like to start implementing like ancient grains or something like that, to have a grain mill, which they're very expensive. Grain mills are very expensive. But I could raise my money to grind my own wheat, because they say that's very healthy. You can look it up, all the benefits. Yeah. Maybe even a garden. I did try at the last house and nothing grew.
Yeah,
but
it's probably just the wrong soil. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my first time. So.
Yeah. And speaking of food, my one of my biggest dreams that I've had a lot of my grown as an adult life. When I was younger and in my teens and even in college, I was a pretty slim young lady. Was taking care of myself. I never did like to exercise ever, even as far as long as I can remember. I was on different teams in high school, but I hated every minute of it. The only thing I liked about exercise was playing tennis. I like to play tennis, but it's been years now, and I like to go downhill skiing in the winter time. We lived in the mountains in high school, so we got to go downhill skiing in the snow and ice, and I love doing that. But that's about the extent of my exercise. I do like to swim. Like laps, like breaststroke kind of thing, but that's about it. Otherwise, I cannot stand exercise. I don't even like to walk. That's the bad thing about it, because in order to be in shape, you need to exercise, and the body is meant to move. So My biggest dream has always been to lose a whole lot of weight and be able to keep it down. I've been able to lose weight on different types of diets. My mom always said diets don't work, which is true, because you lose weight for a time, and then after something happens in your life, and then suddenly you're depressed or angry or discouraged some other way, and you eat again, and then you gain everything you just lost, plus some more pounds are added. I've been there, done that. I've been on every diet plan you can imagine, including Weight Watchers, where I did lose 30 pounds and was able to maintain it for a while, but then life happened. Something bad happened in my life. And even though I have God I have Jesus in my heart, still I was going through a time where I was still very, very discouraged, and I gained all that weight back and then some. So my biggest dream right now is to lose a whole lot of weight and be able to keep it down. And my mom, she was a professional model, so she knew how to eat right. And she always told me, Martina, it's a matter of lifestyle. It's not a diet. Don't do a diet. They don't work. As you can tell, and as you've done yourself, it's a lifestyle change. You need to do it for life. So eat healthy for life. Even when bad things happen, you just keep on going. And so I have prayed and asked God, please help me to lose weight, God. I have fasted, I have prayed, I did everything for the Lord that I thought I could do. I was like, okay, Lord, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't you granting me this? And one time I even prayed and I said, I wish that you would just take away the taste from my tongue, because that way I won't eat.
That'd be
I know that's a terrible thing to pray for. And I even prayed, I love sweets and I love chocolate. And I prayed, God, just take away this love of chocolate, the love of sweets. And I know that's a terrible thing to pray for. And they say, be careful what you pray for, because it'll come later in life. I don't know. But I would like to lose weight. And I would love to, I've always had a dream, believe it or not, of being in a marathon. Whether it's not triathlon where you're doing different exercises, but be able to just run or walk real quickly and be able to make it to the end of the finish line and not give up somewhere in the middle because I got tired, So and I would like to eat healthy, like Valentine mentioned. I would like to eat as close to the earth as possible. That's another saying my mom would always say. Try to eat things that come from the ground, that come from the earth, that are healthy from, trees, plants, stuff like that. I know that sounds vegetarian, but it's not, because even meat, like, the animals, cattle, look at all the cattle that are out there. I know they're cute and we love cows, but we believe that God gave us cattle to eat, give us strong muscles and that kind of thing. You don't really get that from vegetables too much. I mean, not that I know of. Mm-hmm. But so I would like to, that's a dream of mine, really. So if y'all will please pray for me, because I would like to do that. And I'm tired of all the excuses. I've had so many, but I can't walk, I can't do this, I can't lift. I'm so tired of the word I can't for myself. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something about it. Mm-hmm. Despite disabilities, despite physical ailments, despite all that. So yeah, anyway, so that's my dream. Okay, I think we shared dreams that we had that came true, and then we shared dreams that we want, that we hope and pray will come true, right? And now it's your turn, right? you all can share in your comments dreams that you've had that came true, and dreams that you still have that you're hoping will come true. Mm-hmm. That'll be nice to learn about.
And always pray about them.
Right.
Because when you keep God in the center and you're saying, God, here's my hopes and dreams, you know them already, but please help me to surrender them to you, because you're my Father and you know what's best. And that's something that I'm currently having to pray myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to be discouraged, and in the meantime, if that dream has not come, maybe God wants you to work towards it. Like in my situation, if I really want to get into the grain mill stuff, I should do my research about it first, because a lot of work goes into that, knowing what flowers can go together, what flour would be the best for my health, for my family's health, what grains are good, all that kind of stuff. So maybe learn about your future hopes and dreams.
And yeah, I'd like to add on that I recently, you may have seen it in the last video or 2 videos before, I was wearing a shirt that had the YMCA, which is the place where we go, and I mean, people exercise there, but we take our showers there mainly. And this one said, I think it said love your heart, and it had 2025, and I kind of gave myself my own personal goal and just thought, okay, now's my opportunity to live by what the shirt says, love my heart. Right now I've not been feeding my body good things, and it's really difficult when you're homeless to eat really healthy. Healthy foods have to be kept refrigerated, or kept in a nice crisper, or
expensive.
Or they're expensive. Lots of fruits out there like berries, raspberries are outrageously expensive. And we love berries, and they're outrageous. And then you just get this tiny little carton for a family of 5. That's not enough. We need a whole lot more. Well, it's now a family of 4 because our daughter has moved out, but nevertheless, it's still expensive. All the healthy food is expensive.
Sure is.
That's
right.
very upsetting. And all the cheap food, that's, oh my goodness, anything packaged. My mom always says, when you go to the grocery store, always shop along the outside aisles, because that's where the healthy foods are. The produce, the meats, that kind of thing, your milks. And the inside is all the packaged items that have artificial flavors in them, and what is it called? Partially hydrogenated soybean oil, which is extremely unhealthy for you. And a high fructose corn syrup, by the way, is also very unhealthy. All of those, and artificial flavoring and preservatives. Oh my goodness, the list goes on. But that's what we eat. We go to like fast food restaurants, and we just know that stuff is packaged, and then they just heat it up on the oven somewhere.
Right.
So that's not healthy, and not, my salt intake is very high, so I need to get that down. So my own personal goal based off that t-shirt is, I want to be good to my heart. I want to eat heart healthy foods. There we go. That's what I want to eat from now on. And so far I would think that I'm doing pretty good. I would think. But I'm in prayer about it. I've been asking God again to help me. Please, Lord, I need your help. I can't do this on my own. So, yeah.
Right. We always need the Lord's help. Can't do anything in our own strength.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed this video. Like my mom said, leave comments below. What are your hopes, dreams, and wishes? If they're too personal, you're more than welcome to send us an email. We'll be happy to email you back. And, of course, to pray for you.
Yes. Yeah.
And we hope that you click the like button and subscribe so we can see you again. And click the notification bell so that you're notified anytime a video comes out. And we hope and pray that you have a blessed day. Bye.
Bye-bye.